Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. In fact, I mean, in the general population, I was probably one of the earliest people to get to read those books, which was a great privilege. And I learned through the grapevine later that the utterly insane version of Harrow the Ninth I read was even more crazy than the final ended up to be. But it was so, I thought it was so abstract and wonderful. I loved the initial draft. So I still have not actually let myself go back and read the book it turned into. So my art was based on the manuscript. But yeah, I read the books. It's always easier to make good art for good books. So, and the more I read, in some ways, the choosier I get. But those were both great. Huh. Well, it's an interesting point of view on that question. What I'm hearing is, what do the publishers give me? Because often, I mean, every publisher has their own sort of way they work. Some have found that it's better to actually keep the artist and the author separate. Others will put us together and let us cook, and it really depends. From a business point of view, whoever's producing the project, whoever's taking the risk, whoever's spending the money, they're kind of to some degree calling the shots of what is the structure like, what is the strategy like. But sort of generally, I'll get either the full story or book, and this is especially true in the world of sort of limited and fine press publishing. You know, we're doing the cover for Joe Abercrombie's books. Do you want to read them and draw them? It's like, yeah, totally. And in that case, they don't give me anything. Sometimes they'll say suggestions. We'd really like to see this scene, or we want to make sure we show Adjoa, the city, something like that. And then it's like, okay, no sweat, we'll get that in there. When it's a publisher, sometimes they're a little cagey to let the book out, the manuscript out. I'll really push for that if I can. Honestly, in the last few years, I haven't done that many traditionally published books that are just in Barnes & Noble. I'm starting to do more again now, but overall what I've seen is that they want to give you sort of a description, a brief document will usually be like a PDF or a Word document that's got pictures, like we think of the face paint like this, or we think of the masks and the capes like this. It's referenced from this picture. We really like these other 5 books. They'll have comps. So like this is kind of the area we're hoping to hit. And the reason that's important is to communicate to readers what type of book it is. The cover art directors have these internal mental facets. If it's a rogue book about a heist or something, then the person has to be crouching, or they have to be in shadows, or there has to be a hood or a knife. And if it doesn't have one of those things, no one's going to get what kind of book this is, and they're going to miss the boat on a book they would have otherwise liked. So they'll give me those kinds of things. That's pretty much it. They give you that stuff, and then they say, go nuts. But most of the development happens in the iterative process, because you learn a lot about what they think they want, or what they really want. And I've done this too as an art director. Sometimes you're like, I want this, and then you get the sketches and you go, never mind, I don't want this, but you did this other thing for me and I love that. I've had that with art directors too, where I wasn't the art director, I was the artist. A lot of the magic happens in the iteration. It's awesome. It's awesome. Both those people have been so kind and wonderful towards me. I don't know them in the sense of, it's not like I've met them in person. I hope to, I would love to. Usually they're just very generous, and you know, I think when you get to a certain level with your art, you appreciate that level of art in other people. So they tend to appreciate the pictures, and I appreciate what they've written, and so it feels like it's naturally imbued with mutual respect. And I mean, I just have a lot of respect and admiration for authors because they're creating something out of nothing. And as their artists, I get to be the first fan, right? I get to be the first fan artist to go, oh my gosh, that's so cool, I want to draw it like this. And then when I'm lucky, I get to kind of exert this outsized footprint on how other people will perceive the subject matter. And then it kind of goes from there. But I love being at ground zero like that. I think it's so fun. And there must be something about these people that they feel the same way if they want to write things from scratch like that. But yeah, nothing but love.